argument to you. Jay thinks that the sales proposal will be rejected by the committee if it is not rewritten before they see it. Okay, so if it's not rewritten, he thinks they're going to reject it. Jay's opinion is very reliable in such matters. Well, I'm like, well, why is Jay's opinion very reliable in such matters? Thus, since the proposal will not be rewritten, it will probably be rejected by the committee. All right, so what is our conclusion here?
The last.
Yes, it will probably be rejected by the committee. And why is this? What is our reasoning for this?
Everything before it, but more specifically, since the proposal will not be rewritten.
Yeah, so we're saying like, hey, like, because Juan thinks, so we say like we have an opinion, and he says that if it's not rewritten, so not rewritten, it's going to be rejected. Actually, I'm just going to do like, oh, I don't like that. It's going to be rejected. And then we say like he's very reliable. And so since this isn't going to happen, it's probably going to be rejected. So the things I'm paying attention to here is our reasoning is really based off of like appeal to authority, kind of like we're appealing to someone that knows something. And the other thing I'm really going to look for is an answer choice that is probably similar in strength as our conclusion, like probably.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. And so this is a reasoning question. It's not a flaw, so it's just matching it up. So go ahead and start with A.
Okay, so A says a leading science journal has concluded that data provided by the manufacturer of a certain controversial new medication are accurate. The journal is generally reliable on such matters. Thus, the medication is probably safe. For if the company's data are accurate, the medication must be safe.
Okay, so what is the conclusion here?
After the thus the medication is probably safe.
All right, so I like that the conclusion matches up at least on strength, but are we using the same structure of reasoning here? So we say a leading science journal has concluded that data provided by the manufacturer of a certain contribution. So he's just saying that the data is accurate. So that's what we conclude. The journal is generally reliable. Thus, the medication is probably safe for if the company's data are accurate. The medication. I don't hate this one. Did you pick this one ever?
So I crossed it out immediately. Why? Because it says generally reliable. And
I feel like, okay, oh, I get what you're saying, where you're saying that's different than if it is very reliable versus generally reliable.
yeah, so
I probably would have, I like that you noticed that detail. I probably would have left this one open because that probably wouldn't be enough for me on like the very first answer choice
yeah.
out. But I could see how you're saying that. But I do like the rest of it.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So so let's go on to B. So go ahead and read B.
So B says the data from the manufacturer of a controversial new medication prove that the medication is safe because a leading science journal has concluded that the medication is safe, and it would not have done so had the manufacturer data not proven that the medication is safe.
All right, what do you think about this one?
So I crossed this out because the ending of it.
So one thing that's tricky about here is we always want to find our conclusion on our answer choices because that can help us determine stuff quickly too.
Yeah.
And so this one, what is our conclusion?
At the beginning, the data from a manufacturer of a controversial.
And so I already don't like this one because it's not the same level of strength. And we're saying like, hey, they proved that it's safe because it concluded the medication is safe. And if they would not have done so, it would not have been safe. Like, I don't like that this says like it proves that the medication is safe.
Yeah, and like exactly, it's not the same level of the
right.
conclusion is not the same level.
And then our reasoning here isn't like the same kind of like, okay, so if we don't have this, it probably won't have, or sorry, that will be rejected by the committee. If this doesn't happen, that other thing will happen. Well, since this person thinks that won't happen, it won't happen. Like, no, that's not what's happening in B at all.
I see.
All right, okay. What about C?
So C says a leading science journal states that a certain controversial new medication is safe if the data provided by the company that developed the drugs are accurate.
Right.
Thus, the medication. Oh,
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, how would you diagram this first sentence?
um, so if the data by the company, so if the data of the drug is accurate, I guess.
So if the data is accurate, yep, then what?
If data accurate, then this new medication is safe.
Then the medication is safe. Excellent. Okay, continue on.
So thus, the medication is probably safe. For the Science Journal is rarely wrong about such matters, and the company's data are accurate.
All right, so we're saying that, hey, the Science Journal is rarely wrong. So I like that, where it's like rarely wrong. I feel like that's very similar to very reliable, but it's opposite. So I'm hesitant of that a little bit. And so they're rarely wrong, and the company's data are accurate. So then we know that DA happens. So we're saying that the medication is probably safe. I like this one, except I want to look, the one thing that would make a better answer is if we have like not something to something. But if not, I would pick C over A. Do you agree?
I agree, yes. But
Awesome.
I also agree with that, where it's like looking for that negative, and
Yeah,
that.
I would prefer that, but it might not, we might not get something perfect.
Okay.
Awesome, right? Continuing on.
So a leading science journal states that the data provided by the manufacturer of a controversial new medication are probably accurate, and that if they are accurate, the medication is safe. Thus, the manufacturer's data are probably accurate, for the science journal is fairly reliable on such matters. So this one's like convoluted.
Yeah, I don't like this one because it's saying like, thus the manufactured data are probably accurate. Our conclusion is not saying that like Juan's opinion is probably accurate. Like it's not going to the right, like it's not getting to the right thing. Does that, I feel like that's a terrible explanation I just offered.
No, no, but I get, because we're talking about Juarez, and then it's.
So if I was going to break this one down, a leading science journal states that the data provided by the manufacturer of a new medication are probably accurate, Garrett, and that if they are accurate, the medication is safe. So we're saying that if they are accurate, the medication is probably safe. Thus, the manufacturer's data are probably accurate, for the science journal is fairly reliable on such matters. Yeah, I don't like the conclusion here.
Because it brings in manufacturer's data.
Yeah, like I feel like it's not relying on the right part, where it's saying like a leading science states that the data provided by the country is probably accurate. Like rather than saying that it's like, I feel like they're using this as a premise, and they're saying like if they're accurate, they're probably safe. And then they say like thus the manufacturer's data are probably accurate because the science journal is fairly reliable on such matters. I feel um I feel like it's like switching what variable we're supposed to be talking about. All right, so let's go on to
Yeah.
E.
Okay, so the data from the manufacturer of a controversial new medication are probably accurate, because a leading science journal has published the data and has concluded that the data are probably accurate. Moreover, the journal is fairly reliable on such matters.
All right, so what is our conclusion here?
The first half of the first sentence. So the data from the manufacturer of a controversial new medication are probably accurate.
Yeah, so and we're saying that it's probably accurate because the science journal has published the data and it's concluded that the data is probably accurate and the journal is reliable. So we're saying like, hey, this is probably right because these other people did it and they're normally right. That's not what we do in our argument at all, right?
Mm-mm.
And so for this reason, I would go with C as the correct answer. Even though I don't love it, I think it at least uses the same reasoning structure as elsewhere.
When I was on this, I was stuck between C and D for some reason.
Because they all start sounding the same, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thus, the manufacturer's data are probably accurate for. Yeah, I think this one is just like, it's not using, like, we're not saying like, hey, we're not relying on, we rely on like authority to justify what will happen. Where here we say what happened and then we say, so they're probably right, which isn't what we do.
I see. I see.
Do you feel, are you good with this?
Yeah.
That was a tough question.